Best in podcast, the best in town. You wanna get up, get ready to get down. With its big wide sky and the wild river Thames, if you wanna go, we can take you there to Great Falls, Montana.
Welcome to the greatest damn town in Montana, Great Falls. I'm Rebecca Ingham.
I'm Shannon Newth.
And we're no damn experts. I'm pretty stoked about who's in the studio today, only because he's a frequent flyer of the show.
Oh, I
Friend
didn't
of the
think
pod.
that's who you were talking about.
Yeah. Back again.
And he brought in
Yes.
someone I was honored. I'm just going to lay this out on the line now.
Oh.
We've got his CD playing in the lobby.
Uh-huh.
I purchased it a couple years ago at the performance, and it was the first time, you'll be shocked by this, first time I was ever at a concert of any kind where I cried.
Whoa, that is a big deal
The
for
entire
her.
experience
That bad, huh?
moved
Steve?
me
Yeah,
to
right.
tears.
She didn't say which type of
Wow.
You
crying,
didn't tell
which
me
way.
that. Yeah.
I smiled.
She bought the CD, so probably it was
Yeah.
good.
That's good.
Yeah.
She'll relive it. So wow,
So,
that does say something.
It
That's
does say
revealing.
something. There is your minor intro.
Yeah.
Shannon, what do you got in store for us today?
Well, our 5-time returning guest, we think, of course, Joel Corda. You hear his voice every week
Thank
on
you,
this
thank you very much.
podcast.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
Thank
And
you.
Joel, how about you do the lovely introduction for your
Yes.
guest?
Well, this
Whose
guy.
arm you twisted
boy,
to get
buckle up,
in
everybody.
here?
Listen, here's the deal. He's gonna lie about some
Oh.
history here, but I'm here because he will
You're
not
the
brag
fact
about
checker?
himself.
Yeah.
Lie or just omit facts?
He's gonna make it sound like I was a problem, and I
Oh,
wasn't.
this seems like a whole other story.
It was not. Okay, so the best way to talk about Steve is my history with him, and
Hold on. Who do we have? What's his
Steve
name?
Olson.
Okay.
Steve Olson of Belt's
Belt
favorite
America.
son.
Belt America.
Well, I don't know
Kinda.
about that.
That's
but-
how they introduce you. No, they come out for Steve.
Yeah.
His
I've
name
heard.
will pack the theaters a couple times. But
Ooh.
I met Steve when he was in high school,
Okay.
Oh.
and I was doing a theater production. Was the first one
Footloose.
Footloose?
Yeah.
So way back. And were you a sophomore or a junior?
Summer after sophomore year.
Right. So normally the people that play piano for these shows have been to college,
Okay.
but young, ambitious, just in music. I would say Steve Olson is the second person that I've met that I would call a genius
Ooh.
musically. I know you
It's
can
very
take
generous,
it.
but
Don't
thank
cry.
you.
Don't cry yet. Don't cry. So like
Are
early
you
on,
the
just
first genius you
no,
call yourself?
no, and
Okay.
I'm always periphery to these geniuses, and it hurts my feelings, to be honest with you.
Hey, you
'cause
get to
it's-
be in the circle.
You surround
You get to
yourself
be in the
with these
room.
I'm in the
people.
circle.
Yeah.
Some stuff that you need to know about him is he's got right now he's fundraising for his orchestra to go to
San Francisco.
San Francisco for
Mm.
a giant. It's
Yeah.
a big honor.
I got some clarifying questions
Yeah,
already.
Start.
Yeah.
Okay, so Steve, fundraising for your orchestra, is this like, and I'm gonna put it in air quotes, not that anybody can see it, but like your band, or is it like your school orchestra? Because I know you're a teacher.
For sure. So, yeah, I'm the orchestra teacher at CMR, and this is my 14th year, I think, at CMR. And so we're fundraising for our trip to attend National Orchestra Festival in San Francisco. So it's a big nationwide event where students from all across, or orchestras from all across the United States submit an audition. And it's very competitive. It's like only the best top groups get in. It's really tough to get into. So we submitted an audition last year, and amazingly enough, we got accepted. So
Woo woo.
yeah, it's really exciting.
How many times has Montana gone to that?
Well, when we did it, and when I got the results back for the audition, I asked, "Is this?" To my knowledge, I was pretty sure it was the first time anybody from Montana had been.
Oh my gosh.
But this is actually the second time. So the
Okay.
last time and the first time was in 2005 with a group
Wow.
from Bozeman. So
That's huge.
It's a
though.
huge
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
That's,
So
That's
they-
really
amazing.
impressive.
We always try to equate it like we're really trying to make state this year in football,
Yeah.
but regularly our music programs are going to all Northwest, and this is basically all United States.
Yeah.
Because again,
Big
he won't
deal.
toot his horn. I'm going to do it for him, so he
the
can
orchestra
Yeah,
Super
toot
Bowl.
his
just. It
horn.
kind
Yeah,
of
essentially,
is the orchestra Super Bowl, and it should
Wow.
be. It's a big deal. So
That's incredible.
there's a couple other things, but I think I'll save those for when he starts disparaging me.
Uh-oh.
So
What,
I can fight him that way.
What about Footloose?
So he was the piano accompanist for that.
Yeah, I was the rehearsal accompanist for that show.
Which is
While you were still in high school.
Yeah.
the hardest job. And then very quickly he started becoming the music director to every show ever. He just did like this last month. He did the Addams Family for CMR.
Oh, yeah.
And he also was doing Rocky Horror Picture Show at the same
Oh,
time.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
With
So
the theater company.
He's
Mhm.
he's also now composing. He just got the number
Ooh.
one. I
Oh.
gotta read it right. I know you like this, don't you?
Yeah.
I
So
knew you were
weird
gonna
to have
hate it, but I
people
knew
just
you
talk
wouldn't
about
talk
me.
about it. You wouldn't talk about it yourself. So, Snow Day is the number one spot for J.W. Pepper's top 425 for best-selling orchestra holiday music. J.W. Pepper is
Ooh.
the
Ooh,
big
hold on.
publisher. Yeah.
Watch this.
Yes.
It only takes us a couple minutes to get it done.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. That's a huge honor.
Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So now that we know this much about you, let's dive into when you were a little boy.
Oh, boy.
And all the things we need to know about Steve Olson, where you come from, how long you've been in the area.
For sure.
What are you doing beyond getting on the JB Peppers,
J.W. Pepper.
Peppers
Yeah.
list with
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
No, I knew it wasn't that. So tell us about you.
Well, I grew up in the area, so I was born to a ranching family just north of Monarch, and went to high school in Belt for all the way through K through 12, and didn't really come from a musical family, so I'm kind of the one off. A lot of my mom's side of the family, they played fiddle and folk music, but it's
Okay.
not really a like a career type thing. It's just for fun. But on my side of the family, definitely I'm the only one. And so whenever I would go over to my grandparents' house, they had a piano, and I would sit down and just plink out random tunes just by ear, just for fun. It was nothing that I wanted
No
to get
big
into
deal,
either.
Just by ear.
Just-
Yeah.
Pat,
Sitting down.
perfect pitch from
Well,
childhood.
Not quite like
I
that.
know. You worked on it.
The
Just-
only thing I've ever plinked out on a piano without knowing anything was "Joy to the World."
Right.
Just that portion, because you can start at the top.
Hey, but that's a lot of notes.
He also
Yeah.
he also did say he was 7 months old when he
Yeah.
did this.
Yeah, right.
So,
No, we're like 8 years old.
okay,
8, 9.
you're welcome. I'm trying to build the myth. Here we go.
And my parents decided that I should probably have lessons, and it was something that I didn't want to do because I just, there's an instrument, I'm just messing with it.
Yeah.
But they got me piano lessons, and the first couple years was not my thing at all. I did not enjoy it, largely because I started out in the Suzuki tradition, which is where you learn by ear, and then you eventually start reading music. But
Oh.
I was picking up a lot of the music reading stuff just from my general music classes at school. And so it was hard to have to sit and do the by ear stuff rather than read it. But eventually my teacher transitioned me into reading, and then it took off from there. And I just really enjoyed doing piano. And then I started playing trombone and all kinds of instruments then in band. Since I went to Belt, we had really small programs for band and choir. And anytime there was an instrument that was not being played, that was like an important part in the score, I would say to the teacher, "Oh, I'll learn that. Can I take the instrument home?" So I'd take the instrument home, take a fingering chart, and figure out the basic B flat major scale, and then take any other music. And when I didn't know that note, I would look it up and figure out how to play it by the end of the week. So it was pretty fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds to an average person. That sounds so overwhelming and so like, oh, you just pick up a new instrument and go. Why
Nope, to
not?
Steve?
Yeah.
Looks like fun. Let's
Yep.
do it.
Yeah.
Those were his video games.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to guess then, classy school, Belt, small town, Montana. You're into music. The rest of the world in that community is into sports.
Right. That was tough. It
Yeah.
was definitely tough. But it didn't really ever shake me because it was just something like I was just so fascinated by it, and like the weird, strange instruments like alto clarinet and bassoon and oboe. Like I was very fascinated by all that stuff because it was the stuff you didn't see people even in that small school playing. flute, clarinet, saxophone. That's, everybody has that. But I wanted to play the one-offs. And so oboe and bassoon ended up becoming my primary instruments through high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was so much fun. And then I got involved in choir, largely because one of my music teachers was a really awesome piano player. And in 7th grade, I asked her, I was like, how can you just sit down at the piano and have music right in front of you that you've never seen, and you just read it and it sounds awesome like that? She said, you just need to read. The more you read, it's just like reading books. The more you do, the better at it you get. And I said, okay, challenge accepted. And I started reading tons. And she said, well, let's get you involved in playing for the choir when I was in middle school. So I would sit at the piano and I would play their parts. And then she started letting me accompany them like at concerts and stuff. And that took off and started doing a lot of that. And
I still can't do that, by the way.
Yeah.
I can play the parts. I can't accompany the people. That's
I
a
think
big
that's
deal.
like nerve wracking
Yeah.
to be an accompanist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you sing at all? Was choir ever your thing?
I did actually. Because when I wasn't playing, because she also, played piano and stuff, so we would kind of trade off and on. So when I wasn't, then I just thought, well, if I'm here, why not just sing?
Yeah.
And so then I sang all through high school too. And actually, in the summer of 2005, when they had the bicentennial for Lewis and Clark, the symphony produced an opera that summer, and I got to be part of that, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then when I went to college, I was in the Missoula Symphony Choir. And actually, Joel and I sang together in a choir that was about 12, 15 people of all adults. I was the only student in it.
That was Lana's.
It was Lana Friedell's choir,
Yep.
yeah, Bacchanalia. So we sang together my junior and senior year,
Okay.
which was really cool.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
A lot of screwing around in that choir.
It was fun, though. It was fun, and it was great.
It was
One of the
good.
things that I really have enjoyed about being in this community, and then being on the flip side of being an adult and a teacher, is all the opportunities that I got to explore doing music. I was in the youth orchestra all through high school here in town, took private lessons for piano and violin. And then the choir that I was in with Joel, the gal who directed it was in the UGF band, and I also got to be part of that, playing oboe, and I was the only oboe player in there, so it was cool to have like lots of solo parts and push my comfort zone. And then reaching out to her and getting involved in the choir, and then doing musical theater, and like a lot of these things where these people had no idea who I was. I'm pretty much the only one from not Great Falls coming into Great Falls to do this, and a student, and they took a risk and a gamble to give me an opportunity, and it was great, and I'm always forever grateful for that. And so now, being a teacher and then doing like Steve Olson Orchestra and all that stuff, the goal is giving kids opportunities.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would. Oh, do you? I was just thinking.
I have tons of questions, but go.
You're talking about we're Class C school, which in Montana, that's the smallest real organized school. And that you did the music there, and you were kind of the one that was willing to be different and invest in that and do that. You took opportunities here. I think it's really cool that you weren't like, oh, I must go to New York City now, or I must go to California now. I must go to a bigger school to expand that experience.
Yeah.
Did you ever have Juilliard dreams, things like that? Or like, how does that play into your story?
Good question. I didn't really know what I would do with music, especially like in high school, but I knew it would probably be something I would do for my career. Film music was always a huge influence in my life, middle school all the way through, and even today now. And I really had an inkling for wanting to pursue that. And I think it was late middle school, maybe it was even early high school, but I was looking at a program at Berklee College of Music in Boston, and they were one of the few film scoring degree schools that you could go to learn how to do that. And I thought I would really like to do that. But of course, it's in Boston, you're an out-of-state school, it's really expensive. And I also didn't write anything. Like I would arrange things and rewrite stuff, but I never wrote original music. And so I thought, well, that's probably not going to be my thing. And even writing original stuff today really is not my jam. I would much rather rework somebody else's melody and chords the way I would like to interpret it. It's a lot more fun than just coming up with my own stuff. And, then going to college, I majored in piano performance and music education. And while I was there, I was kind of, again, another one-off performance major, because usually when you're a performance major as a pianist, you do mostly solo work. You don't really do collaborative work. And I didn't really know the whole collaborative piano genre existed when I was in high school. And when I stumbled across that music, this whole new world of like, oh my gosh, this can be used this way, was open to me. And I just absolutely fell in love with piano trios, piano quartets, everything, piano duos with like a string instrument and piano. And most of the people that I collaborated with in college were string players. And so I thought, if I do go get another degree, and I'm still on that, when and if I do go get another degree, collaborative piano would be where I would want to go. Because it would be something that I could definitely use readily. And it's something that I love doing. As much as it would be nice to go to college for a master's in education or something to use for teaching, I think if I would go to higher education, it would be more just for me, for what I want to do. And then that helps me work with the kids even more, because I'm come back even more passionate about what I like to do.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So much here. First, if I'm going to say this and you're going to go, good Lord, is she stupid?
Listen, I've already asked him.
No,
It's already happened.
No, Joel, it's gonna be pretty bad. Here we go.
We work together, believe me.
When you say collaborative piano, all I think about is dueling pianos, which I love and is super fun.
Yeah, essentially.
That's pretty.
Essentially that. So collaborative artists are people who you do chamber music, so small ensemble stuff. Because like the route of doing a soloist, you could be a piano soloist where you just play only on your own and just do that kind of soloing. You could be like a solo artist that performs solo with symphonies. So you're doing concerto work. And then collaborative artists are the ones that do work with string quartets. You work with other musicians. When this is probably, I don't know, maybe a decade ago, but there were a couple of years where when the Glacier Symphony would bring in guest artists to solo with the symphony, especially violinists, they would have me do a duo recital with that guest artist, like the night or two before their symphony appearance, like as a soiree to raise money or just thank donors. And so that's another form of collaborative work.
Okay.
Well, and last year you did a concert every month.
Yeah.
That you self-generated.
Yeah.
At CMR, and a couple times you brought in some Missoula folks.
Yeah, last year I had the violin and cello professor from U of M come, and we did a show together. And then I worked with a flute player who was here in town, and then a couple other people. They're blanking out on who else I worked with, and I enjoy that a lot because it's more fun to work with other people and make music together rather than I like doing solo work, but it's not as fun because you're up there by yourself.
So, are you writing original stuff more now, or still just tweaking? Is it still if I had time, I would do it and I would enjoy it? Or is it, nope, if I had time, it would be a fate worse than death. I don't want to be doing this.
No, I don't think so far that route. It's more of a time. I mean, really for everything that I do too, it's just when I have more time to do this, I could expand and explore more of this. I mean, I do like writing original stuff and I could easily do it. It's just not, I would rather be inspired by something else to get me to write. So how I work too when I'm doing arrangements, there's two types of arrangements. One is a transcription. So if there's a piece written by, let's say Joel writes a piece and it's all written out, I would take that music and just rewrite it for something else. I'm not really adding anything. I'm just literally taking his notes for guitar and whatever he would write it for, and then giving it to flute, clarinet, and piano. Even though he didn't write it for those instruments, I'm just transferring it right over.
It's like translating it into another language.
Yeah.
In a way.
I do have to jump in here because there's a major accomplishment that he has not talked about.
Okay.
Thank you, Joel.
I mean, we've gone all back to my childhood, so I'm trying to keep.
Will you please tell them about the John Philip Sousa work?
Ooh.
Hold that thought because I'm going to forget about what we were just talking about. Yes, I appreciate
a big
that.
one.
Yeah.
So in the transcription arrangement, that's actually what I got started with when I was in middle school. I would take melodies from the church hymns and okay, this is for piano. How could I play this on bass clarinet? How could I make this work?
Because it's not necessarily that you're playing the same thing as the piano.
Right.
It's not just like everybody singing the same song together.
Yeah.
There's different things the other instruments are going to play versus
For sure.
this instrument. And
Yep, and how that works too with those different instruments, depending on what they are. Like if it were, let's say the piano was playing a C, if I wanted another instrument to sound that exact same note, it couldn't necessarily be written as a C for them to read. It would have to
Oh.
be transposed because of the tuning of their instrument. So I learned how to do all of that when I was in 7th and 8th grade too.
Wow.
do you hear it playing in your head while you're writing it?
Now, yeah, for sure. And usually that's how, like, I have all these ideas that just I don't have time to. I just need to put them down.
Put them from here to
Yeah.
paper. Yeah.
And then that actually is what helps the second type of arranging, which is what I like to call like original or composition arrangements. So if you have a melody, let's say for like our Christmas stuff, like Joy to the World, you take that melody and then whatever the basic chord progression is that would go underneath that to provide the harmony. That's what I work from, which is very simple. It's very bare bones. And then I write everything else, like how the feel of it, the groove, the style or changes, colors, tempo, like everything is wholly mine.
Who's going to play this part?
Right.
Who's going to not play this part?
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you say colors, what does that mean in music?
So colors, that usually refers to like working with larger group of instruments, like full orchestra. Each instrument has their own tone color or timbre. And depending on
I
what
know that word. I know.
Yeah.
I know
Perfect.
the timbre. Okay, I was like,
Yeah, and depending
Got it.
then on
Okay.
which range that you write for the instrument, low, high, middle, that creates a different color, and then
Okay.
blending of those different ranges and instruments together with the different harmony notes it's like this whole different color palette of choosing what you want to.
Because you can't have a mustard yellow and an army green. That's going to clash.
Oh,
Right.
But it's perfect in the fall.
So
well,
when-
true.
That's true. It depends. Maybe if there's another color that's with it,
With
that
it.
brings it all together.
Yeah.
That's true. I was just trying to come up with something that I thought would clash.
No,
off the top
and
of my head.
that's
Yeah.
very true
Yeah.
because like some of the composers that like are really, really like where their music is really, really palatable to your ear are the ones that really understand how to blend those colors. And to boil that down, we basically call that orchestration, how we write all of this stuff out. And then like if I'm working with piano, coloring is more like how you approach the instrument as well as harmony, but like, how you layer things with your 10 fingers is really important too.
So when we did the Christmas album, that was 53 instruments on that one, right?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
think so.
gosh.
So he wrote 53 parts.
Oh my gosh.
On some of that's
Holy
the thing. I just
cow.
want you to understand the
The
scope of
breadth
what
of
he's.
that. Yeah.
And are you okay? I don't know how you're doing 58. If you're writing more, for
No,
them?
it just adds more people.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
for like when you're working with an orchestra, like strings, it's typically like 5 parts: first, second, violins, viola, cello, bass. But then you can have lots of people on those. Yeah, so I'm not necessarily writing individual single parts for all the number, but we have that many
That's
people
still
playing,
a lot.
which
and
is
that's a lot
cool.
to orchestrate.
Yeah. Lots
Yeah.
put together.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
I prefer doing like, if I am going to write something original, I'd rather do an original arrangement because then I'm more inspired to do them. Like it was, what year is it? 2025. So it was the spring of 2021, like January. I was talking with the students at school on what they'd like to do for their last concert theme wise. And we came up with like a 70s, 80s, 90s pop music theme. And so I asked if they had any suggestions, and a lot of them I was like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not writing that. No. But then there were a couple that I was listening to, and I thought, oh, that'd be a great jam for strings. And went home, and I don't know, it was like 4 or 5. It was a week later, and I did 8 new arrangements.
Just
Yeah.
one
No,
week
yeah.
straight.
No big deal.
You're just working on that, or like nobody saw you out of your house for a week.
I still did
Yeah.
everything else. Went to school, did all that stuff,
Oh my
and
gosh.
because like I'll sit down and I'll hear it. Like one of them was "Like a Prayer" by Madonna. Another one was
Such a
"Listen to Your
great-
Heart" by Roxette, and like I'll just sit down at the piano and figure out what is the melody. I'll sketch it out as well as the chord progression, and then from there I know what.
Was it like a mashup of the
it
two?
want-
Or they did
No,
both?
just
Okay.
2 separate ones.
Okay.
And I'll just sit down and I hear what I want how I want it to sound, and just sketch it out.
And then 58 pieces of music later for every
Yeah.
instrument
Yeah.
for
Boom.
this song. Done. Next.
yeah.
Did you do that? So with your high school group, going to California
Yeah.
for the Super Bowl of orchestras.
Nice.
Are those is the music that you auditioned with to get into that things that you arranged, or is that the right?
Let's see.
word?
Actually, yeah, one of the pieces that we used for audition last year, I arranged, and then what we're playing this year, 2 of the pieces I arranged by classical composers, and then one of them I wrote. So yeah,
Ooh, an original
See, he
Steve
wrote
Olson.
it.
yeah,
You wrote it.
He's,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have an instrument that's like maybe not in the normal? Thinking of like a
Didgeridoo.
didgeridoo. Yeah.
Oh, that I would
that
write
you
for.
like to write for, or that you don't like to write for?
No,
He's played with a didgeridoo.
I have.
Well, the score for the Feisty Women
Yeah.
documentary that you're part of, one of my favorite, it starts with
With
the
the big
didgeridoo,
didgeridoo, yep.
which I love so much, which is why I thought of
It's
didgeridoo.
fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I haven't ever, largely because I haven't ventured into more non-traditional types
Have
of
you played a
of stuff.
didgeridoo?
I have not.
What?
I have not.
Oh, add that to your list.
But interestingly enough, that is an instrument along with the serpent and the conch, like the shell. Those
yeah.
3 instruments were instruments that were used by a composer in like one of my absolute favorite film scores, like growing up, that really influenced my joy of music. Was the score for the 1979 film Alien by Jerry Goldsmith.
Okay.
And those 3
yeah.
instruments are used to represent like the creature and the alien sounds, which is interesting that you bring up that instrument.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did you say a serpent and
Yeah.
a conch? I don't know what a serpent.
So the
instrument
conch is
Come on.
the
Come
no,
on.
I
shell.
know the conch, the
Shannon.
serpent.
And then
I'm joking. I was like,
Really?
It's like the frog that you just
the yoga frog, right? A serpent is a Renaissance brass instrument that's
Okay.
like in the shape of it's all S'd out.
Okay.
So it's like
I
a
was
snake that winds
thinking
up.
there's got to be some correlation to the name there with that.
Yep.
So, okay.
Yeah, and it's a brass
Can
instrument.
you
that,
make the sound that it makes?
No, I cannot. I appreciate you asking, though.
is it harp-like?
No.
Oh,
No.
like you
Sounds-
blow it?
doesn't sound like a harp.
It's got to move a lot of air to
Yeah.
get where it's going.
Sounds a lot like a sort of a trombone mixed with bassoon sound.
Oh.
It's not a pleasing sound.
Oh, well,
I mean, appropriate for the name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, different strokes, different folks, and all
Yep.
that.
That's
But
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't see a lot of it.
Interesting.
There's a reason why nobody plays them anymore. kind of.
Okay, so
Yeah.
for your next album, you're just going to do a
Serpent.
recomposition of
Oh.
Alien
All
just with those
non-traditional,
instruments
yes.
that you're going to play. You're going to learn to play. Yeah.
so Steve, bring me up to the performance that you have done annually. I'm assuming it's done annually since
Yeah.
it launched, and it's the same performance, which is fantastic.
Is this the one you cried at?
Yes.
Nice.
What song was it?
Why would I remember
I
that?
don't know. Just curious.
Just beginning to
Moved.
end, just
beginning, just
tears.
pure.
Just
Yeah.
There was
tearball.
just moments where I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Mm.
So when did you
Yeah.
start this journey? When did you begin that performance? How happy were you about doing that whole entire experience?
sounds like you've been given
Get ready to be
information.
alive.
I've heard some stories.
Okay.
I think we were actually on this podcast when you weren't here. We were talking about you behind your back.
Oh,
so,
perfect.
Yeah.
Even better.
So tell us about this performance, this experience.
So, it'll be a long story if you're ready for that.
I'm ready.
We have
Okay.
time.
So, it all started with Joel harassing, poking, prodding,
I can see
you know,
that, yeah.
all
Let me
that
tell you.
stuff, like sort of like tying me down and not letting me go until I did the task. We were working together on our Saint Somewhere album,
Mhm.
and a lot of fun. Definitely out of my comfort zone, totally. But with that work together, he said, it'd be really cool to, rewrite and make new versions of old, familiar favorites for the holiday season. The ones like the Time Life, Treasury of Christmas, the old standard classics that everybody loves, but just do new versions of those, still keeping in the tradition of the nostalgia of those arrangements. And he said, "Oh yeah, you'd be great at that. We should write a Christmas album." And I said, "Yeah,
We-
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll get right on that."
It's very much, you should do that.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was regularly, I was coming by going, hey, not everybody can do what you do, Steve.
That's
So
true.
so for me it became another one of those kind of like, yes, dear. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice, dear. That's nice. Go play.
Joel's coming down the hallway. You're like,
Like,
God,
oh,
how can I
Gotta
go?
run.
Run. Oh, look at the time.
And so he presented that idea, and I laughed it off. But then it kept this recurring theme for that school year. And actually, it was that year that fall that I had completed my very first original composition. Prior to that, like I had written stuff, but I would get usually to the bottom of the page. And then I'd get stuck. I never studied composition. I never worked with anybody. It was just stuff that, hey, this sounds good and work it this way, but I never really knew what to do. And so in that fall, I sat down because my students were working on stuff technique-wise that would be really nice to reinforce with a piece of music. And I had a student in the orchestra who was a Jehovah's Witness, and this was around November. And so since Jehovah's Witness followers can't celebrate holidays, like they can't, if you're doing holiday music, they have to sit it out. And I thought, well, that's kind of lame. I don't want to have this student just not get to play. And then they sit out, all that time for class too. So I looked through the library, and all of like the wintry themes, so non-holiday things, they just really were not that great, or they were too hard. And so I thought, well, this is what we're working on in our technique. Maybe I can see what I can do. So I went home that night, and I had been doing some other like writing projects, but it wasn't really much to lend itself towards this. But I sat down and I thought, okay, I think I can maybe make something work. And that I finished it by the end of that night. And it's so weird too, because that composition I wrote directly into the computer, into my notation software. I didn't write it out by hand. Like I didn't sketch it and then notate it later. I just wrote it out directly from the piano into the computer. And that ended up becoming Snow Day, which was the piece we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
That's the number one favorite from this year.
The first time I tried it, it's
Went to number one.
But no, dude,
Not
I don't
that
have
big of a
time.
deal.
I don't have time for you and your ideas.
That's true.
That's never how he spoke. That's never how he spoke. That's the worst Steve Olson
but I can hear it.
impersonation
I can hear it now.
Hey,
Of course.
man,
Yeah.
you don't know what you're talking about? And
Who invited this guy?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
seriously. Can you just put that mute button, the cough button? Yeah.
please do. I'm tired of hearing myself too.
So then, that just giving a little context there, like that was the first time I had actually like completed a big like writing thing. And so I didn't really fancy myself as any sort of writer. But then he started prodding me again and again about this Christmas album. We get to the end of the school year and there's nothing said about like that we're not doing it. He's like, oh yeah, we'll do this in the fall. And I'm like, okay. So the school year ends. And I'm like, well, I guess he hasn't said no. So I guess he's probably going to expect me to do something by the end of the school year. And I put it off and just delayed it because I was freaked out. I didn't know what to do. And I kept comparing myself to like composers that I really enjoyed. Like, I'm not this good. I can't do this. Like, I've never done this.
Negative self-talk.
I know, right? So one day I was just like, okay, it was after July 4th. It had waited that long. And I said, okay, you just got to start something. You got to do it. And I'm not John Williams. I'm not James Horner. I can't write like
Steve
them.
Freaking Olson.
So I just need to write. And so I locked myself away for that whatever day I started, like July 10th or something like that, and didn't come out other than to eat and use the bathroom until I had finished the first piece, which ended up being my arrangement of "O Holy Night." I think that's first on the album. I think that's how we arranged it. And it's kind of in the middle of our live set. And that went really well. It was fun to do that. And I learned a lot in that process. And then the next day, sat down to write more. And I think I got 3 pieces done that next day. And then the next day more. And 6 days in total, the whole album was done. 6 days worth of writing.
Wow.
Which it was fun. It was neat to just like lock myself away, and I had to do it how I approach just writing in general, where I just need to, vomit everything up onto the page and then judge it later rather than keep critiquing everything as I'm going. I also like when I'm writing like papers and things, I hate using the computer because I always, you can backspace and change things. I want to write it by hand so I can just write out what I'm thinking and then go back and evaluate later. And that helped a lot, get all of this Christmas album stuff onto the page and actually have a product to work with.
Mm.
And a lot of it largely has stayed in its original format since then. So that's how the project got started. Once the music was all written and ready to be printed out for the players, we decided to put together the orchestra of community and high school students. So it was about I don't know, maybe 2/3 students and about a third community members that play in the symphony or just do other musical things locally if they're not in the symphony. And it was a great experience. It was a lot of fun. That year too was really neat. The seniors, or the kids who played, most of them were seniors. And those were seniors that it was like my first generation. So they were the kids who were freshmen when I started teaching at CMR. So it was a really cool experience to kind of tie in that way with them to their final year in the program.
Well, it goes back to what he's saying about creating opportunities for kids. I mean, that's huge to be able to just here. This is
yeah. And like when I wrote the album, I wasn't thinking about writing it like for students, like making things accessible and this will be too hard. I just wrote it how I would, this is what I want to write. And if it's too hard, then if they're not able to play it, then I wouldn't have them play, obviously. But the kids who played, they did a really nice job with the album preparation and recording. And once we had the album done, we released it, and then that was pretty much it. I had no intentions of doing anything with it otherwise. And then it was about, I don't know, 6 months later, 5 months, it was in May where of that same year after recording, where I thought, we should just get the band back together and just do a live show this summer. And that was actually when we started doing our full Steve Olson Orchestra gigs. And we did a show in the summer and then our Christmas show in either November, December. And we kept that going up until COVID happened. Since COVID, we haven't brought back the summer show just because in some respects, there have been some red tape things that have been harder to deal with. And it's like, I'll deal with that later. But the Christmas show has been going every year. We did it 2 times live in Great Falls, which was a total blast. It was so much fun. Big audiences, and we were able to do it the way the album was written, like it's in its full format with winds, brass, percussion. So you could have 58 or 75 or however many people you want. And then in 2018, that December, Belt Theater actually essentially bought us out, for lack of better words. And then we've been doing our show annually out there ever since. So.
And it's multiple performances.
Yeah.
A day that you're doing that.
Yeah, when we do the Belt show, we do 2 on a Sunday afternoon. So, and their theater, partly it's because the theater seats, I think, 120 when it's full. So it's a small venue, it's a small stage, and that's also why we don't do the large group, because even if we could fit like everybody on stage, you wouldn't want to listen to it because in that space it would be so obnoxiously loud. So loud. I mean, it's loud enough just with the small group that we usually have. And I think this year we had 19 musicians on stage. Yeah, and it's been a great fun to do that and cool to do that, in my hometown and in the theater that was this, broken down basically mess the whole time that I was in school there. You'd walk by and look in and I would always wonder, like, what does this building look like inside? Like, it's a theater. And they used to do like dinner theater stuff upstairs in a ballroom, but never in the actual theater. And you could look in the windows and it was just gross and broken down and icky.
No more.
Yeah, it was so great that they've renovated it, and it's a beautiful space. And it's wonderful to play out there and bring the show to those people.
So, Steve, pretend that Joel's not in the room and be absolutely honest.
Okay.
Did he force himself upon you to sing, or were you like, after I get this done, I'm just gonna ask Joel to sing?
Wouldn't it have been funny if I would have done the album and like, oh darn it, I wrote you out. Like we killed your character off the show. Sorry.
Halfway through.
Yeah.
I think someone else would be better for that.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Someone a little more demure. No, I always intended to have Joel doing the parts. And we kind of collaborated on what pieces what titles we would do for the album. But since I was doing the writing, there were some that I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'm not feeling that one. And so that was fun to to collaborate and work on that together. And then I always knew that he was going to be the one singing the role too. So then I could write, in the keys that would work and ranges that would work for Joel, or at least most of them.
I don't, I'm just going to say this. Most orchestras need an entire choir to sing with them so that the sound balances. And Joel really does not have that issue.
That's true.
Like
he is the choir.
right. The sound that comes out of Joel Corda is big and powerful, and
like
it is
all
amazing.
Caps.
Sometimes
all caps.
Steve does not enjoy the all caps.
Oh yes.
But even during the Steve Olson Orchestra Christmas experience, you end up being soft and loud during the whole thing.
It's nice that you hear it that way.
Yeah.
That's good.
Or quiet, small and big. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
How do you do that, Joel?
Just remember how nice I've been to him. Here for two.
But it seems like a bit of a challenge because there's a lot of dynamic components to the entire performance.
You definitely have to be present in the music, and that is something that I can do. And I don't know how to explain that. I think I went to school to be an opera singer. Not that I wanted to ever sing, but it's the best training, and it's so that you can sing live with
against a full group. Yeah.
The breath control seems particularly important with that mode of singing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
A lesser person would get enfolded in the music, and you wouldn't be able to hear them.
Listen, here's I should
true.
say the real challenge for real, and this is something that I've always loved about what Steve does, and you've heard a little bit of his piano Christmas stuff too, that I'm hoping is his next project. But because the thing is, like, the real trick is to not get swept away emotionally, because it is to me, it is very powerful. It's very moving. It's very
so crying's a normal reaction, wouldn't you say?
When you're doing it, it's not the time, though.
It's okay for you, but
especially
not for him.
for somebody singing.
Somebody. So that was actually a challenge for me when I first heard his, or even through the computer. It was clear to me, these are going to hurt me right in the heart hole. I need to do this enough to not be swept away with it. But even so, like, he'll debut a piano solo in between, so I can take a breather. And I'm like, don't listen. Don't.
Get yourself together.
Bring a torch. Don't bring a torch. Don't do it.
You're making a lot of people cry or emotional with this particular set of music.
Have you gone?
No, I've never been able to make it.
Oh, well, I'm out. See
She'll
you
be
later.
coming Saturday, though. She's in Saturday.
Is there an opportunity for her this year?
Yeah, there
of
we
course.
go. Okay,
Yes.
great. Good. But where I was going with that is that, I mean, what's it like for you hearing? I mean, I know it's Joel, so maybe that's different for you since you've worked with them a lot to hear that. But it sounds like this is a common theme that people maybe get emotional or very emotionally invested in your performance.
Yeah.
Was that a hope or just a lovely byproduct, or what is your response to that?
Did you intentionally I'm going to make people cry?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
And it's interesting that
Our family has a tradition of trying to make people cry with Christmas gifts.
That's the
Just
goal.
so you
Okay,
know,
gotcha.
So it's normal for me to be a part of people who are like, no, our goal is
You will
to make
cry
people
by the end
cry.
of the show.
point, yeah.
Yes. No, it's really neat to hear that reaction and that people do enjoy it, that they're moved by it. For me, it was all very business transactional. I don't know if that's the right wording, but it was just very I have this job to do. I need to get this done. And it's not to say that I didn't invest an emotional experience in writing it or going for creating a nice piece of art, if you will. But for everything that I've written, it would be interesting to sit down one day and write something over the span of maybe 2 days or 3. But everything that you hear that I've written was written in one sitting. it doesn't. I've never done over more than one sitting, just because I'm always afraid that if I do that, like I'll lose the momentum of where I was at, and then it won't tie in to be the same. Like the back end won't match the front end, and so it's great that people do enjoy the pieces. What's really funny is 3 of them were written for our, I think it was it was the second live Christmas show in 2017. It was the last time we did it at CMR. And 2 of them were written, like 3 of them were written just a couple days before the show, because the newspaper article that came out about the concert said, "Oh, and there'll be new selections that you haven't heard yet."
Oh no!
And I was like, "What? Like,
Who said this?
Yeah.
Misquoted.
I never said that.
no.
Lies. I never said that. So I thought, well, I guess if they're hoping to hear something new, I guess I can write something new. And the 3 pieces that they were written super quick. And they actually are 3 of my favorite pieces. Weirdly enough, that they just turned out to be really, really good.
Yeah.
And I enjoy playing them. I mean, there's a lot of emotional attachment to the pieces and stuff for me too. Weirdly enough, like I often think a lot about family members as I'm playing them, because I lost a lot of family members during the holiday season, but it's not like a sad memory. It's just like a happy memory, which is really nice, especially when I'm playing the piano solos. So so it's nice to hear that the music touches other people.
I have a creative process question for you. So when you go and you like lock yourself in that room and you're like, okay, I can eat and pee, but otherwise this is what I'm doing today. How do you kick yourself into that zone? Like, is there other music that you listen to that inspires you? Do you read something? Do you play a game? Like, how do you get into that?
So like when I wrote the original Christmas album, I sat down, like I was in my work office space, and I had the piano, blank music paper, pencil, a ruler, pencil sharpener, a giant thing of coffee, and Frasier.
I love Frasier.
And it was on, and it's just as noise.
Yeah.
So, but it's just such a smart, fun show.
And it's got the right feel, right? For kind of the vibe you're going for. Yeah.
But otherwise, like if I know the melody, like especially for these Christmas tunes, if I don't know it readily enough in here, I'll just sketch it out so I have that as a reference. Same with the chords, but I mean, if I have it, I just sit down and I go. And I usually know before I start writing, like it comes to me, like what style, what feel I want, and then I'll maybe play through that and jam with it a little bit, and then just start writing. What I did during that album experience too is I had a tape recorder with me, and I left it on the whole time I was working, just in case I would play through something that would be really, like I really liked, and then I would try to workshop it a little. And usually what happens is the more I try to play with it, then the worse it gets. But then I can't remember what I did to start in the process. It's just like this diminishing returns, and I can never get home. And thankfully I did use that recorder, because for one of the pieces, I think it was actually the end of A Holy Night, the orchestra outro, I could not for the life of me remember what I played, and I really liked it. So I backed up and found it and was able to rewrite it. But yeah, since then, when I sit down, I do a lot of writing, like at school. If I have in my free period and I really have something, I'll sit down and sketch it out. There's really not a whole lot of, I don't like to listen to anything else, like music wise. I don't want to be influenced by things. And the same goes too, like when I'm just performing anything or even working on pieces with my students at school, I don't want to listen to other people's recordings, because I don't want to just emulate what they did. I want to do my own interpretive take on it. And then maybe after I really have a good hold on something, I'll listen and think, oh, I like what they did, I want to take that. Or I don't like, I like what I'm doing better there, I'd rather not, why did they slow down there? I wouldn't do that, So I like to just do it from scratch, fresh. So it's totally my own thing.
And Niles is just a great inspiration. He's my favorite character from Frasier. I feel like he'd be good.
I saw him on Broadway. Spent a lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
David Hyde Pierce. Yeah. Nice.
And one of my favorite quotes from that show too is when Frasier says that he was actually writing a jingle for the radio station, and they had all these instruments there, and they're like, haven't you ever heard of the concept of less is more? Frasier was like, but if less is more, just think how much more would be.
Uh-huh.
That's what I live by.
So good. Have you ever watched Frasier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when it first came out,
Oh, yeah.
because I'm not old.
That was in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
Backing up.
Ooh.
Back in my day. So when is this year's performance?
So what's really cool about this year is a couple weeks ago, I just thought, you know what? I'm tired of not doing the album in its full form, largely because we haven't done it for so long. And like, it's been about 8 years, and I want to get more kids involved. I want to get more people involved in the show and bring it to a bigger audience. And so I ran it by Joel real quick because I know he's busy in December, and this was just 2 weeks ago, I think.
Let's pause there for a second. So I have a crazy idea. Well, I love crazy ideas. And
Turn it on him.
but the fact that he could get, is it 58 now?
Yeah, it's at 58, I think.
That
Yep.
58 people would respond positively with 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah, that's pretty
I'm
impressive.
saying
in
that's
December.
a track record of doing things that are, even if it's not just for him, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And he's making people have a good time.
Yeah, I think like I've worked with a lot of conductors and a lot of different musical
Yes.
things, and I've worked with people that have just been so awesome, so much fun, and then I've worked with people that I wouldn't work that way myself, and I want to enjoy doing what I do. I think in some respects, in the music field, we can sometimes take ourselves too seriously, and as we should. It's an art form, and we work hard, like everybody does at their craft. But at the same time, it's like, but it still has to be rewarding and fun at the end of the day, even if you're working really hard. And so I always want to make sure that like the people that are in the group, they enjoy the experience, and it should be rewarding to them. And so it's really cool to have that response of the people that do want to play. And it also helps that a lot of them have played it before, so it's not like they have to learn a whole new heavy show in a small amount of time. But I ran it by Joel, and when he was good with it, I asked our principal at CMR if we could use the space, and she was great with that. So then the emails went out to everybody, and we're doing the show this Saturday, December 20th at 2 p.m. And it's a free show. Everybody, bring your friends, bring anybody you know. It runs about an hour and 15 minutes, no intermission, and it's like solid music. So we'll launch into our first piece, and then I'll talk about Joel harassing me to create this experience.
That's his favorite story to tell.
Yep, it is.
Yep.
It is.
It's a great story.
It is.
And then from then on,
I hope it changes a little at my funeral.
No,
It'll be worse.
Nothing if not
It'll be
consistent.
worse at your funeral. You're like, this
It'll be softened
SOB,
by then.
so and so.
Joel who? And then we finish out. So the whole show has 18 numbers. So it's after the
man.
first one, it's 17, just back to back to back. And I really enjoy a show like that. A group that I really enjoy seeing and playing with is Mannheim Steamroller. And if you go to their shows, like they play one chart and then the audience is clapping, and the click track goes off in the player's ears before they're done clapping, and you start the next. So it keeps people engaged. There's no downtime, and I like that with this show too. So and then it gets people in and out.
Psychedelic components of Mannheim Steamroller into yours.
One day that would be really cool. I would love that.
That was surprising to me when I went to their show. I was like, oh, I was not expecting this vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, I should have been expecting it, but I wasn't. So
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's fun. Okay, so Saturday,
Yep.
December 20th, so the day after this podcast comes out.
Ooh.
Okay, Saturday,
Yep.
December 20th. Tell us again time and place.
2 p.m. CM Russell High School Auditorium.
Perfect.
Yep, and it's totally free. We always take donations for the Steve Olson Orchestra Scholarship Fund, or just this year, though, it's just like, if you're so moved by the experience here, do something nice for somebody. Donate to something, whatever. It doesn't have to be anything specific. Just,
Did you hear that, Joel?
Well, I am very much
Thank
setting
you.
up a merch table and trying to sell stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Right?
yeah, that'll be there too. So,
That'll be
very
there.
exciting.
We need to talk about John Philip Sousa, but while you mention that,
Yeah.
we have your
Brand
lovely
new.
album here.
Yeah.
Joel Corda, Complicated Christmas. It is vinyl.
It's
too.
fun. Yeah.
Tell us all about this.
I clearly love Christmas, but I was writing my own. Here's the other thing I've been trying to sneak into Steve Olson's ear. There's a song on there called "Merry Happy" that I wrote for a musical.
Okay.
I've been trying to get
Oh,
this guy
boy.
to do a musical Then we need to write one together.
Mary, as in
Mary
the mother
happy.
of Jesus,
Mary,
or
no,
Merry
as in Merry
Christmas,
Christmas,
Mary. Okay.
happy. Yeah. No, it's all original. It's the song "Complicated Christmas." It has mention to my dad who passed in June. So I just think that that's what it is for everybody. It's those times when everything's coming up and everything's working. But got them last night, and I've been making deliveries from the pre-orders.
Well,
and,
we feel very special that we can, touch a physical copy here. It just came
pretty
out.
great.
So,
There's a digital download in there. There's all the things, and the merch is coming today apparently too.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
It's pretty exciting.
And you had Great Falls designers helped with the
Kyle
album
Doherty
too?
did the cover. He's the guy that did my my sign at the Sip and Dip too, and he's been helping me on the technical side. The Spacement guys are hosting it on their website. For sale, for pre-sale. The merch is on there, the album's on there, and you might just, instead of me shipping it, I've been just running it to people's doors in Great Falls.
Get
I mean,
Joel
that seems
Corda
more
showing up.
efficient.
It seems like it's just a smarter way to go.
I mean,
A
hand delivery.
hand deliver
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
artist.
You try
is-
to make things special. I just it's a big deal to me for some reason to. I mean, it's the same thing I make Steve do. I just want to make things. I want to put things out in the world, and it's how I interpret, how I live. I guess.
Yeah.
Make some art.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we'll link to this in
Thank
our
you.
show notes of the podcast too.
Appreciate it.
Steve, do you make your students call you maestro?
Oh God, no.
I'm going to start doing it.
Oh God, no.
I call
I
him
did have
doctor.
students though. But a group of students a couple of years ago, they kept calling me coach. They
Oh,
would call me coach.
It's a good one.
That's a nice one.
That's
Yeah.
better,
Yeah.
actually.
But
You got to tell them
not
about the Sousa,
maestro.
though. I don't want to. We can't leave that hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a way we can lead into that, or we're just like
No,
start
it's
this
just-
story?
I don't know if there's a good transition to that, but
Okay.
So, John Philip Sousa is the #1 marching band guy.
Mhm.
You've heard anytime
Oh,
you hear a
yeah.
marching band, you're hearing John Philip Sousa.
especially around 4th of July.
oh yeah,
right?
It's like
Yeah.
everything.
So I actually, we have these visiting professors from the University of Idaho, and I was trying to explain to them what Steve was doing, and there was a woman that was a professor was like, "There's no way he did all that."
Oh,
And I said, "I'm
Bull
pretty sure he
crap.
did."
Yeah,
Oh,
Well, tell me
watch
who she is.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I'm like, "Let me double check."
Mhm.
But you took the catalog.
So what? It's some weird quirk of mine, but like
Looked like it was going to be
Sudoku.
fun.
Yeah.
His crossword puzzle.
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
There's so many different facets of music that I just love everything music, and I always like growing up too, going to the symphony in the summer. My favorite concerts, seeing the symphony, were always the Holiday Pops concert and then the Summer Pops concert, because it's music that I could get into readily. I mean, I love classical music, don't get me wrong, but sometimes if I don't know the piece, a 45-minute symphony can be heavy.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Even at my age, and my appreciation for it. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Ugh, if I don't know it, it's really hard to get into it." So those pieces really inspired me and really got me into more of wanting to play with an orchestra, and especially Sousa. And I loved listening to his marches for wind ensemble, July 4th time, always growing up. And there were editions out there for full orchestra that you could play, and most of them, the way so when these pieces were published in the late 1800s, early 1900s, they did not come with a conductor's score, which is the document that has everybody's part printed out for the conductor, so you can see exactly who has what and where.
Yeah.
Which is
seems
a modern
important.
creation,
Yeah.
pretty much. Largely because they are really long, depending on the piece. I mean, many, many pages. So they take a lot of work to create. But now that we have modern typesetting with computers, it's easy to create them. It's not as difficult or as labor intensive. But all of these Sousa marches that were out there for orchestra availability, and especially being a high school director, it makes it really hard to rehearse them when you can't see who has what where. You just have to ask who's playing a B flat in measure 14 on this beat, and then they have to figure out who has what. And there's a lot of inconsistencies and errors with stuff like that too. So I approached the publisher of these works, which is Lux Music Library out of Detroit, and they're the largest publisher of orchestral music in the United States. And I said, I have a proposal for you. I would love to take all of these, there were 45 titles. They have 60, but 15 of them already had a full score. I said, I would love to take the 45 of these titles and make a full score for you and matching set of new parts. And I said, I totally do it because I wanted to kind of like sell myself out there a little bit. I said, I'm totally willing to do it for free. All I ask for is a full set of parts with this string count. And they said, sure, we'll do it in 3 batches over the course of however long, so they don't send me 45 at once. They were just going to send me 15 at a time. So I was super excited about it. And they sent me the first batch and I started working. And as I got to work in the very first title, once I got everything typed in, I could not get over how many errors and misprints and just wrong things were in the original
Really?
parts. And the whole thing was supposed to be so how I create this is they send you all of the orchestral parts, and then I have to take each part one at a time and type it into
Sounds
the
like
score.
a giant puzzle, especially when there's errors. and
Yeah,
things
yeah,
missing.
a huge puzzle. And then when I saw all these errors, I thought, well, they're not going to want, like, this looks really bad if they're going to publish something that is this awful. It's like doing a first draft and publishing it as your final book. Like, that's not really that great. So I reached out to them again and said, hey, there's all these errors. These are really bad. Would you be open to allowing me to edit these with the caveat that my name goes on it as edited by me,
Yeah.
rather than having it just be their own in-house thing that they don't give me credit. And I said, I don't, that's my payment. You don't need to pay me. I just want my name on it. And they agreed to that. And so it was a really lengthy
Wow.
process of using resources from the Library of Congress, other digital online platforms, as well as any hard copy things that I could get my hands on to, when there were errors, to see like what should be the correct way of doing this. So all 45 titles, I went through doing that with a fine-tooth comb. And then in the end, too, typing up a full report of everything that was changed, all
my
of the
gosh.
corrections, everything.
Like a thesis project.
Yeah.
My good God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So does that music now?
Yeah.
It's John Philip Sousa
Yep.
edited
So
by Steve Olson.
every one of those titles is available through Lux Music Library.
Yeah.
So everybody around the world can buy them, and they are the exclusive publishers of those editions,
Yeah.
of those new editings, which is really cool. So they come with a score and then a nice set of clean parts that has measure numbers, and everything is corrected, or at least, as many that I was able to catch.
Yeah.
And it was a really fun project to work on. And then I ended up doing 10 more Sousa titles that I found in the Library of Congress that were no longer in print. And a lot of these titles are not the most popular, and there's probably not a whole lot of people buying them. But for the sake, John Philip Sousa is a huge composer for our American heritage.
Yeah.
But at least even if they're not flying off the shelf, they are there for somebody to buy, and they will remain a part of music history
Yeah.
for years to come, which
Do
is
they
cool.
still have his kind of sound? Like,
Oh,
can
yeah.
you tell it's a Sousa?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
For sure.
Wow.
Yep.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And now your name is attached with that for the
John
rest
Philip
of history.
Yeah.
Sousa
too.
by Steve
Yeah,
Olson.
that's
Which
right.
is
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is so
Yeah, that's
impressive.
amazing.
Why are we not having a ticker take parade down Main for you?
Whatever.
With the Sousa music going.
Here's the even better part.
Why have you not
he
coordinated
wasn't going
that?
to bring that up. He wasn't even going to say it.
No, it's not really related.
Unless I
So
shoehorned that in. He was
Thank
not
you,
even going to bring
Joel.
it up.
Thank you, Joel.
So
Yeah.
mad at
Let me
Steve
just
Olson
ram this in there.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to
Yeah,
ram
any
into
other
this
hidden-
episode? I'm really good at not having gentle transitions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
they
there's
just
any
gotta
other
do it.
random
Yeah.
topic
He
we
does
need to
have a
talk
website
about.
that he's starting to. He's starting to listen to his unpaid manager a little more
here and there.
here and there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, this fall, like working towards doing a lot more of the things that when I have time,
Yeah.
trying to get those off the list. This past fall, I launched my website, which is steveolsonmusic.net. And so it's where you can find all of my arrangement stuff that I sell, as well as a link to all of those Sousa titles, and then the pop arrangements that I've done for my students over the years. Just like it's my whole, basically it's all just about me as a music creator. Although it is a place that you could reach out to me if you need a musician for something or a special project or whatever. But it's been cool to have that up and running too, and get my stuff out on the market. And if I don't ever hope to be any of this like big, it's everywhere thing. If it becomes that, great. But if the music
should've
can be
probably-
purchased by somebody, awesome.
You should have probably thought of that before you went to #1 on JW Peppers.
Well, that's true, and it is pretty wild though. Like that piece I wrote in November 2014, and it's just been under my like lock and key that will roll out whenever I need it. And then I submitted it for publishing 3 years ago, and it was so weird when the publisher came back. They didn't select it, and they selected I've only composed 2 original compositions, and they selected the other one. I thought, this is okay. You be you. Then I asked them later after I wanted to wait until they actually had the contract signed so they wouldn't change their mind. Yeah. I asked them, did you not like this piece? Or because I felt the other one was not the same quality as Snow Day. And I said, was it maybe the title that you didn't like? Because there was another piece for string orchestra already on the market by the exact same title, even with the exclamation point, Snow Day exclamation point. And I thought, if it's the title, I mean, I can change it to whatever. I don't care. I'm not married to that. And they came back to me and said, no, the title's a great selling point. We really like the piece. It's just that we usually only take about 2 or 3 compositions per cycle from from people who submit. And they took 8 from me that year. So we can't really take any more. So please submit it in the future, and we'll take another look.
Love you already.
Yeah. And
We're
just in a
looking
year, it's
biased.
already gone up to #1, which is pretty cool. And it's weird to like see it like by other groups playing it. Like search it on YouTube, and there's other groups playing it. It's so weird.
That's
You
so
get,
And he's
like-
yelling at his TV. You're doing it
That's
wrong.
You
Every
get
year I try to
royalties
add.
for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do get royalties? That's great.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just thinking about, other things in entertainment.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
it's one of those things too where with being published by an outside publisher rather than doing it myself, they make way more money off of it than I do.
Sure.
But then they have the backing of getting it out there and
Yeah.
distributed. Like if I were to just do it on my own website, like it probably wouldn't catch on nearly
Sure.
as well
Right.
as it has. So that's the plus side of being with somebody else, even though you don't make as much money. And I mean, the whole goal of it too, for me, it's not about making the money. I mean, otherwise they just sit collecting dust in my hard drive.
Yeah.
Even if one other person finds joy in it, great, use it, so
Every year I try to add lyrics to Snow Day.
he does.
Oh.
Hey guys, it's Snow Day.
Yep.
He does not.
That's when it's
It
like
doesn't-
he can exit the
doesn't like
stage
Every-
at that moment and then come
You guys
back.
sure you don't want me on this one
Yeah.
too, guys?
Get the hook.
I'm good
Come
here.
on. Yeah.
Yep.
I got the words.
Yeah.
Yep.
Piano seems to be like your primary instrument. You can dabble in other instruments. Have you ever considered being in the orchestra here, the symphony?
I am actually.
You are. What do you
Yes.
play in the symphony? Because I know
Whatever they need.
I don't
No, not really.
Wherever
I don't know a
pinch
whole
hits.
bunch, but I know there's not a lot of piano in the symphony.
True. Yeah, and that's, I would love a piano position. They're so hard to get because the person either has to move away or unfortunately die because once you're in that position, you're just you're there. And there's already somebody in that spot, which is awesome. But the downside of doing a piano spot is you don't play in a lot of concerts because historically most orchestral music doesn't involve piano unless it's written like 1970 to now. The piano wasn't really a mainstay. But I play violin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been playing with symphonies in Montana since my senior year was actually my first symphony season with an orchestra in Montana, and it was not Great Falls, even though I grew up in Belt. It was the Butte Symphony, actually.
Oh.
Yep. So I would drive down there to rehearse, leave school at like
Wow.
3:15, get there right at rehearsal at 7, and be home by like 3 o'clock in the morning and
Oh
go
my
to school the
gosh.
next day.
Wow. That's dedication
Yeah.
right there. My goodness.
Yeah, and then I've played with Great Falls Symphony since 2007, off and on. And then I played in the Helena Symphony for 12 years, and I was their assistant conductor for 3 years, I think, towards the end of that. Glacier Symphony, it was how I made my money in college, actually, was playing violin with symphonies.
Oh.
Yeah, because it paid really well, and it was fun. I didn't really have to work that hard because it was what I was doing for my degree anyway.
Yeah.
And I loved doing it, and it was fun to travel around and see all the same faces that would travel around and play with the same orchestras. And I just love being able to play in the symphony. I wish I could do it more often here in town, but it's tough with the school job and then with everything else that I do or want to do, it makes it hard. But I was able to play this last Holiday Pops concert a week and a half ago or so, and then
I was at that one.
have a couple more coming up. So yeah,
Cool.
Very nice.
yeah.
So what's next for you, Steve? What's the next big project that we get to know about?
Oh, Joel. Yes. The audience couldn't see you, but I think they could imagine what Joel
I
was
think
doing.
they heard it.
Especially
All that,
if they know anything
tell
about
us
you.
more.
Yeah.
You know what I would really like to do. This past October, I had a booth. It was the first time I was an exhibitor for the Montana Music Educators Conference.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
Okay.
here in town.
Yeah.
And usually I'm a teacher who goes to the sessions for the conference, and I just visit the exhibits. But this year, because it was in town, it was easy since I have all my stuff here. But I thought, you know what? Since I have my website and I have content, I'm gonna set up a table and try and sell my stuff there, which was a great way to break into that whole world of things. And one of the things that through that process that I really would like to do as my next project is get all of those pieces recorded somehow. So that way when teachers come up to the booth or they come to my website too, they can hear what it sounds like, not just see it, and then like find a YouTube recording of like the piano version of it or some other, wherever I arranged it from. My big thing too, that I didn't mention earlier when I do a lot of my arrangement work is working on music by historically marginalized composers. So women composers, Black composers, Latin composers, LGBTQ plus composers, finding as much music as I can by those composers that is in the ability range of like your high school orchestra, because there's not a lot of stuff by those composers out there. And what is out there is either not written for string orchestra, or if it is, it's like ridiculously hard because it's by a living, more modern composer. And I really believe that it's important for students to have access to that music. The downside about the music world is so much of our heritage is based in just old dead white male composers. And that's, stands to reason. That's where it had come from Western Europe. But there's so much other great stuff out there. And, even if music by, some people argue that, well, why would you program music by said composer just for the sake of saying that you programmed a woman composer or a Latin composer? It's not near the quality of such and such other composer. Well, maybe, but that's their opinion. And I also think that regardless of that, it's so important for students to be able to see themselves in what they do. Even if they don't know it then, it's like, hey, I'm a Latin X person and we're playing a piece by a Latin X person. That's pretty cool. Or there's a Black composer on the program and I fit that model. That's really neat. Maybe I could, even if they don't become a composer themselves as a Black student or an Asian student or whatever, it's like, but they can still see that I have a place in this. And that's really important.
But I would also have to think that the sound is different than, Mozart.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're coming, every composer comes at it from their own life perspective, and you're going to hear things differently than you would in the classicals or the Sousas or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And that's a really important part of that in exploring that unique voice of that composer. One that sticks out in my mind specifically for that is William Grant Still. He's probably one of, if not, in my opinion, is the best or greatest African-American composer that we've had. He died in, I think, 1978, maybe 1971, but had a lot of firsts as a Black composer. First to have a symphony played by a United States professional orchestra. First to have an opera produced by an American opera company. Really, really amazing writing. And he was not trained in writing, a lot like me. So like the colors that he gets, the voice that he has is uniquely his, and which is really, really cool. And interestingly enough too, he was commissioned by Great Falls High School in 1958 to write a piece for them.
Wow.
Which he did, which is like wild that like we commissioned a composer of that magnitude and stature at that time, which is pretty cool.
We've been a big deal for a long time.
Yeah.
Long time around here.
Yeah. Nothing new for us.
Big city ideas.
I know that was kind of a digression, and I went like on this
I
like
appreciated
rabbit
that.
hole story there. If that even answered the question that you asked.
Yep, it did. I don't even remember what the question was, but
What's he
just
doing
what
next?
projects
Oh
he's
yeah,
working
the
on.
next,
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
Yeah, so just getting those pieces from the website recorded, but it's tough too because like I think okay, it's not just like 4 or 5, it's like 50 plus pieces that are on there now, plus then more that I will write as time goes by. And it's weird too for me, like with writing, I have to be like either motivated or inspired to like I have to be bitten by that bug to really do it, and then I can sit down and write like
Yeah.
I'll churn out all these things, and I'll go cold for like 10 months, and then I have this boom, I have this creativity, and there's 8 new pieces or 10 new pieces, and then nothing for a long time, because I also when I put stuff out there, I want it to be quality. I don't want it to just be cookie cutter, and I think that would be the hard thing too. I don't know, like if I really did want to branch into composing like for pay as my professional thing, it would be hard because
It becomes a job.
yeah, and I would be afraid of it being
passionate
cookie
about.
cutter and just
Yeah.
like in a way a lot of like composers who write especially for school music, a lot of it it's just like, well, that's the same thing you wrote like the last piece or 3 pieces ago, and I want it to be fresh and new.
Yeah.
And then, other projects too, like recording the Christmas piano album. I've talked about doing that for a while, and Joel's talked about that, having me do that, and
Writing the musical.
that will probably never happen. Because there is a certain limit, there's like, I would rather play in that.
It's that you don't want to hang out that much.
Oh,
Because
that's what
it would be a lot of
That's what it
years
is.
Well,
of
at least
workshopping.
at least he said it, and
Yeah,
I didn't.
right.
No, we read between those lines.
No, not at all. But yeah, I just love doing music, and it's hard to finish projects because then I get excited by something else, and oh yeah, I would like to do that too. Great, I'll do it. And even like Great Falls Theater Company, when they started, Joel and I were actually founding members of that company. It seems like forever ago, but it wasn't that long ago.
Not that long ago.
And I did the music for Oklahoma for their first show.
Yeah.
And after that, I just said, you know what? I'm going to take a break. I think I'm done doing shows. I'll let somebody else do it. And that lasted 2 seasons. I'm like, no, I want to get back to doing it.
Yeah. Yep.
And so there's just all these things that I want to do, but then other stuff comes onto the plate. And, I don't know.
I still like to go to Europe every now and then.
Yeah, I do love a good trip to Europe. Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
I
same.
just want to say it has been a delight
Oh, thank you.
to learn about you and your amazing efforts and your amazing work.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Joel,
You're welcome.
Yeah.
for
Facilitating. Yeah.
being you.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Steve, amazing work. Joel, good to see
You're
you.
here. Yeah.
Here's your sticker. Where's your hat?
Yeah.
I knew things were up when the
Congratulations
guitar did
on
not
the-
come in.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, this needs
Yeah.
to be about my friend Steve Olson.
This has
Well, I
just
appreciate
been
it.
a delight.
Mhm.
And for those of you keeping track at home, number 5 for Joel, number 1 for Steve.
Yeah.
Looking forward to each of you coming back,
I
either
thought
as
you were
a
gonna be
duo
like,
or a
Steve's
singular.
coming back.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No,
You
Joel's
probably won't
gotta
need
come
me next
back
time,
for
but I will
6.
send you notes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Here's what he won't
Make
talk
sure to
about.
ask him about this. Yeah.
But we will have to do an episode with Joel just to get caught up on the rest of the things
Yeah.
he's working on.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
thank
Be
you
back.
both for being here.
Thanks for
thank
having
It's
us.
been a delight. And again, thank you for moving me to tears, which does not happen.
No, applaud. Like that's kudos to you. It doesn't happen very often.
Beautiful experience. If you've not gotten the opportunity to, hopefully this just continues every year. It's one of those things that just kind of become a staple, and for me is Christmas. So
I'm excited to hopefully come on
Saturday, 2
Saturday.
o'clock.
Yeah.
CMR
Yeah.
High School Auditorium.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Be
See you
there or be square.
And check him out on his website.
Yeah,
Beyond That.
SteveOlsonMusic.net. And Joel will be out singing at the Sip and Dip, as well as offering his new Christmas album for those who love the season and Joel.
And next week there's the Sip and Dip sing along
Yes.
as well. Yeah.
Always the 2 days before Christmas, 22nd, 23rd.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll be.
The one time I went, you weren't there, and I said, screw him.
I got the COVID.
I know.
It was. You know how bummed I was about that.
Yeah, it it's such a fun experience.
Did they even do anything that? It was just
he
Yeah.
was
just
very-
Cody?
Cody was very upset with me.
Oh,
It's not an easy. You do need two people that night.
yep.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes,
Thank
As
you.
always.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
And folks, if you need help figuring out what you want to do in Great Falls, we've always got ideas. We are always here to help. We're kind, we're caring. we'll give you what you need.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a promise.
Yep. And until we see your bright, smiling, happy, healthy, beautiful faces in our fine city, we do hope you're creating amazing memories with your friends and family wherever you might be. See you soon.
We're No Dam Experts is the recorded claims from Great Falls, Montana, covering what you need to know about this amazing damn town.